All right, today we're going to continue our study of Social Studies Chapter 5 on Ancient India with Lesson 5, which will be the last lesson in this chapter. And it is Indian Achievements. Big idea for today: the people of ancient India made great contributions to the arts and sciences. Three main ideas: Indian artists created great works of religious art. Sanskrit literature flourished during the Gupta period, and the Indians made scientific advances in metalworking, medicine, and in other sciences. So this is showing you some Harappan art. And it says, like other ancient peoples, the Harappans made small seals, like the one below, that were used to stamp goods. They also used clay pots, like this one, and it's decorated with a goat. So religious art in the temples. Well, both Hindu and Buddhist temples began flourishing during Gupta rule. Remember, they were tolerant. At once they were simply constructed meeting places. However, the Hindu temples became complex towers covered in intricate carvings. Intricate means it's very detailed. So painstaking work to carve this out. Buddhist temples were large and impressive. Some of them were even carved out of mountainsides, and you're going to watch a video on that later. Buddhist stupas, new word, were built to house sacred objects from the life of Buddha, and they were covered in detailed carvings as well. So you can see with this Hindu temple, this is a blow-up of one of these. And you can see just how intricate and almost delicate it looks. So can you imagine the work that went into this Hindu temple? Many individual sculptures that you see on the temple are images of important Hindu gods, and this would be the statue of Vishnu, which was one of their gods. Okay, you also had religious art, like your paintings and sculpture. Great artists were commissioned, that means they were paid, by rich and powerful members of society. So it was worth it if you were an artist and you could do what they could do. Paintings offered a perspective on the daily life and the religious belief of the ancient Indians. This is how we know about them. And many of these paintings could be found on the walls of the temples. Indian sculptors carved columns, statues, and like you saw before, even entire temples in the likeness of the Buddha or a Hindu god. And I know, and I don't mean this in a derogatory manner now, but a lot of the depictions of Buddha that you see today are in the form of little statues. And for some reason, they depict him as a bald, very overweight man. And I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why they do that. But that's what you see today. All right, their language, of course, was Sanskrit. And there are two that we're going to talk about. The Mahabharata, and that's one of the songs in this chapter. And you have to go back and listen to the song. And there's no dialogue. It's all sung. So you just have to listen and watch what's going on. And it's really hard to follow. It's the story of two Indian families that are struggling for control of a kingdom. It has many large passages of Hindu beliefs and practices within it. There are blue monkeys, there are apes, there are flying saucers. I mean, it's hard to follow. So just bear with it. Anyway, the Mahabharata is one of the world's longest literary works. And it was written in Sanskrit. Ramayana, well, this is the story of their god Vishnu, who had taken human form. So you're going to watch that story as well, the Ramayana, on the following slide. And actually, I'm sorry, I thought it was the Mahabharata. It's hard to follow too, but the Ramayana is the one that's all in song, no dialogue. So I'm sorry, I got those two mixed up. But anyway, Vishnu has taken human form, and it contains models for the ideal ruler, who's called Rama, henceforth Ramayana, and his ideal mate, Sita. Yeah, okay. So, a lot of different words here. Don't get hung up in the pronunciation of the word. Just know that the Ramayana was written long after the Mahabharata. And Mahabharata is one of the world's longest literary works. And the Ramayana is the story of one of their gods, Vishnu, who takes on human form and try to figure out who the ideal ruler would be. Okay, so you're going to watch the video on the following page about Ramayana, and then you can go back and watch Mahabharata, the song at the beginning, and you will be finished with not only the last lesson in chapter 5, but chapter 5. Okay, one last note here. Chandragupta II hired a famous writer named Kalidasa to write plays for the royal court. And the Panchatantra is a book of stories intended to teach moral lessons and quick thinking, and it was later translated into many different languages. All right, scientific advances. Metalworking. These were pioneers of metallurgy. The Indians created tools and weapons by mixing iron and other metals together. So they had stronger tools, stronger weapons. Henceforth, if you have the strongest tools, the best technology, so to speak, then you have a leg up in the battle. Mathematics. They invented the concept of zero. Imagine life without zero. There would be nothing to represent nothing. Okay, we owe this to the Indians. They also developed a sophisticated number system called the Hindu-Arabic numerals. Similar to the Roman numerals, but different. Medicine. They used plants and minerals, and Indian doctors made advances in medicinal science. They were among the first to practice inoculation and perform surgery. A rhinoplasty, a nose job, is one of the first things that they did. And that's because if you were in war, you get your nose cut off. Not a nice thought. An inoculation, that's simply when you're vaccinated, like now with the pandemic and they're coming out with the vaccination. So we're trying to be inoculated against COVID-19. Astronomy. The Indian astronomers knew of 7 of about 9 They knew of 7 of the 9 planets in the solar system, which now 8 if you don't count Pluto. And they could predict the eclipses of the sun and the moon. Yeah. So, like in Greece, if there was an eclipse of the sun, everyone got worried. It was like, oh no, it's the end of the world. What's going on? Well, the Indian astronomers, they knew what was going on because they knew that it was cyclical and when it would occur. So they didn't get all scared. All right, there's one other video about India's history on the slide after the picture summary. And then finally, you're at the end of lesson 5.5 and chapter 5. Okay. These two are, yes, this is the video you're going to watch today, but you're not going to watch this video or this video today. You're going to watch those later.